There's something about live and the experience of watching something in the moment that humans really relate to.
I love playing live. I love seeing a real audience there responding to your songs and dancing and looking at you.
I've been jealous for a long time that musicians can get together and, they jam, but in visual effects, traditionally, you're working at a glacial pace.
It's about getting that instantaneous feedback from the audience that something's working.
You're always on the edge of your seat, waiting to see if something's going to go right, if something's going to go wrong.
There's so many things that could go wrong.
Hi, I'm Sally Coleman. I'm a musician who started out performing in a rap duo called Code of Conduct. We toured with festivals and had songs on the radio, then ended up as radio presenters ourselves, eventually hosting Triple J Breakfast in 2020. But I also love sci-fi and fantasy, so when I chose to finish up on Triple J, I decided to create a fictional band called Big Sand. I wrote the songs with some of my favourite Aussie artists. All the lead characters are kind of coming up to the Shadowlands, I guess, of this world. But I had no idea how I was going to bring the characters to life.
And that's when I heard about this idea of motion capture.
So motion capture is a way of getting a representation of the body and its movement in digital space. It's a form of digital puppetry. We use suits, and basically there's a bunch of calculations and data that they spit out to the computer, and then that can move these kind of 3D objects in a virtual environment.
So I bought myself a motion capture suit, downloaded some animation software called Unreal Engine, and just started figuring it out from my bedroom. At first I assumed that Big Sand wouldn't be able to perform live, but as I got more confident using motion capture, I started to rethink that.
So I've found a performance at the Sydney Opera House where dancers in Hong Kong and here in Sydney are going to perform with each other using motion capture. And I'm going to go meet the crew behind it.
The show is Liu Yang, Doku, the binary world. Essentially it works like a multiplayer game. We have a dancer in Sydney and a dancer in Hong Kong interacting in real time across a shared network.
So it's like a partner dance that then joins to become one body across the two locations of Sydney and Hong Kong.
I think once we really make that apparent that this is live, you can feel the audience it's like that pin drop moment where they're like, there's all these other people on the other side of the world watching this at the same time. You can watch something at home, but when you're sitting in a room with a group of people watching someone perform, that whole experience is just sort of elevated.
What if a virtual band is actually an opportunity to think about live music differently? I love playing live, but to reach audiences, you need to tour. For me, this starts out being fun, but it can leave me feeling exhausted and isolated. And a lot of musicians say that touring has a negative impact on their mental and physical health. It's also becoming more risky and expensive to tour. In recent years, cancellations have been more and more common. Plus, travel makes up an estimated 74% of the music industry's carbon emissions. But despite this, physical live music events are important and people love them. So what if I could tour, but from home? To test this out, I was going to need some help.
So, why are we here? What are we doing? Sally has this fantastic idea that she's started this new band and she wants to do something different with it. So she's gone Gorillaz-esque and is going to have a fully animated band, which is great if we just work in the world of straight kind of 2D, 3D animation, but she's far more ambitious than that, so she wants to do it live, create a live show.
At the moment, I am here at the Flinders University Drama Centre in somewhere called The Void. So this is a motion capture stage. It's got a whole bunch of infrared cameras around that pick up the reflection of these little knobbles on my Velcro suit. And these are all the data points that are used to animate a virtual character.
I reached out to The Void with an idea for a virtual gig in a physical venue, and the team here, Cam and Jason, have been super supportive. An animation studio have made a music video for Big Sand, and because it was made in Unreal Engine, I can reuse all those assets for the live show. I'm also working with music director Joel Farland on the audio. So I have all these great partners, and I'm going to need them because in just 12 weeks' time, I'm booked in to perform live for a real audience. The thing is, I am struggling to bring everything together and figure out what tech I'm actually going to need. So I've reached out to Michaela.
My name is Michaela Ledwidge and I'm the co-founder of Mod, which is a Sydney-based studio that specialises in real-time and virtual production. So when I met the Big Sand team, I proposed that we do a facilitated workshop to put together a high-level design for the show. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. So I'm just going to jump straight in. We have a vested interest in seeing this project work because there's very few examples in this part of the world working on this. In this area where you can be using a lot of complex technology and there's typically too many options, it's really important for all the creative and technical collaborators to be really clear on what the through lines are.
For me, it's like locking down what compromises do I make? What's the middle ground between this being a tech testing project and this being a creative show for audiences?
The technology for me, is it worth doing if the audience can't tell what's going on?
This comes back to the question of how do you know it's live?
If we can stream mocap and have a live audience viewing it and reacting to it, that's our big plus point.
What's awesome for an audience is asking a question to a virtual character, that virtual character answers back.
Otherwise you can just put a big video on and not.
So yes, you want live.
Yes,
okay, cool.
Live talking, important, and specifically scripting things that make it really, really clear to the audience that it is live.
I'm definitely interested in the live aspect of this. You're not just looking at an animated film, it's an opportunity to form that connection with the audience.
The workshop helped me realise that I needed to interact with the audience so that they knew the show was live. But I'd never seen that done before in a motion capture performance. Then I heard about a kids' workshop that was running at Sydney Opera House.
Welcome to the Sydney Opera House and our motion capture music video workshop. I'm going to do the movements that you've made up, and I want you to tell me afterwards if we've actually created a story in there using the animation.
Oh my gosh, it's so silly. Like sometimes I catch myself, like I can see the little avatar moving and I'm like entertaining myself. I can like see myself, and then it's really fun to explore the outer edges of that weird body that's not your own.
With all this technology, things go wrong. This is Karina. She's here just to make sure to fix my suit. Don't forget, if something goes wrong, you got to tell me.
That would be my number one, is like, don't be a perfectionist, like be a performer, be engaged with your character and your audience first and foremost, and then things will mess up and you'll deal with them as they come.
I didn't realise that they were actually experimenting quite a lot with motion capture. I think I learned a lot from that and got some ideas as well for how I could engage with an audience in character. So the show is in 1 week and there's still so much that I need to do. The thing about the live show is like only 2 minutes of it are actually going to be live. That's sort of for the prototype what we're testing. But that means that the remaining like 10 to 15 minutes have to be like pre-recorded. So at the moment I'm putting together like a little animated sequence for each section of the show, like the walk on, the intro, the first song, the interlude, all that.
I've done as much work as I can in my bedroom, and the show is in just a few days. So I'm back in Adelaide, I'm animating a few last things, but mostly I need to test how the live streaming part of the performance is actually going to work. Here's the plan. I want to test out this idea of a remote virtual music gig. So we're going to stream my performance from the Void at Flinders University, 13.5 kilometres across town, to a place called Light. Here, there's a music room called The Lab with immersive LED walls. In both locations, I'll run Unreal Engine, which is game development software that lets you build virtual worlds and animate characters. In the Void, I'll use motion capture and Unreal to perform live as an avatar. I'll use Ableton Live to put some effects on my voice. And now I'm able to process my voice and sound like this. And use a virtual camera in Unreal to stream that performance into a Microsoft Teams call. At Light, virtual cameras in the same Unreal Engine project will send 6 different video feeds to the surrounding LED panels. I'll need to line these up manually to make it feel seamless. Remember, a lot of the show still uses pre-recorded content, so Ableton will trigger the animations that match each song and interlude.
It gets the OSC and it's like, is it MIDI note A, B, C, D?
I'll need to see and hear the audience too.
All we need is the feed from light as well.
That's another video call showing the room and streaming a microphone back to the void. When it's time for the live part of the show, we're going to switch from the pre-recorded animation to the video feed of my live performance. And hopefully it'll be smooth sailing from there.
Working with these kind of technologies, there's such an element of risk on our part of like whether it will actually work.
I feel like I spend honestly about 80% of my professional life with something going wrong.
A few days out from the show and plenty of things are going wrong.
I just crashed the first time I opened it, so fingers crossed that's not a theme.
That's great.
But if you're happy for me, the only things I want to test is, can I open the Ableton project and hit play and it triggers everything right? I'm kind of still trying to learn to use like programming and blueprints in Unreal Engine while I'm actually putting the show together. It should go to night. That's one thing that should happen when I hit play. So let's find out. I've got all these different audio and video streams, and one of the big challenges is latency and getting everything to sync up. Hey, be great if we can get the feed working so I can be like, was it okay? So anyone who's even just tried to do a Zoom call knows that that's hard enough. So trying to add in live streaming, mocap and audio, there's plenty that can go wrong there. Cool, I can talk to you in character, that's cool. Yeah, there's plenty of things I'm worried about, but I think the biggest thing that might go wrong is something I just haven't foreseen and haven't planned for. So it's the day of the show. We've solved most of the big problems, but
It says that the subscription is in progress rather than that it's active. So neither of those things I think are particularly helpful.
No.
the license just expired on Faceware, which is the program that captures my facial movements.
All week it's been working perfectly all week, and then that.
I feel like I'm in my element, you know? When something's going wrong, I feel like, oh, phew, you know? Like, this is how it was supposed to play out. When nothing's going wrong, I'm suspicious. I'm waiting for something to jump out of the bushes.
I think what was a discovery for me, which is how much potential there is when the technology goes wrong, again, if you don't freak out. Being ready to adapt to the situation is an absolute must.
I was just doing a pre-made face animation. I can just have her mouth moving. It just won't be in sync. Well, I've got that mouth, Jason. Ow! Wow, wow, wow! Oh, I've just made a quick animation for the mouth, but it means that it won't actually track my face. And yeah, audience is arriving. Yeah, maybe just an extra 10 minutes. The one thing I haven't had a chance to do is actually rehearse what I'm going to say. I've been so busy like fixing audio. Room is live. This is the second chorus of this one, so we're gonna go live in soon. I don't know. There's some funky stuff happening with the audio, but I'll leave you to watch the Discord for any updates. I'm going to take this off unmute and we're gonna go quiet in the room, and then I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. Hello.
My name is
We've traveled a really long way, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous.
I didn't know exactly his name.
I can see someone sitting here wearing a black shirt and black pants. Where have you traveled from?
The audience can see me, but my audio starts dropping out and I'm not sure whether or not they can hear me.
I can't hear you. Where have you travelled from? Oh, can anybody hear me? Give me a wave.
Oh, hello, there's some people up at the front. Where have you travelled from?
Hello, where have you travelled from?
Where have you travelled from?
The voice effects also aren't doing me any favours. So I fall back on an old faithful from my hip hop days and get everyone to put their hands up.
I just want you to put your hands in the air. Like this. Yeah? Beautiful. Now I want us to go this way first. Oh, that's great. And then how about this way? Oh, you guys are good at this. But I'm going to tell you a very important story.
I'd also run out of time to plan some kind of show communication system, like a radio. It meant that no one had any way to communicate with me while the microphone was on.
Am I muted? I'm not meant to be on right now. Can you tell them to hit play on Unreal?
And that meant that I didn't know when to stop dancing.
Oh, okay. It's good, it's good, it's good. Thank you so much for coming.
That was the first time we've ever tried that. I think it's the first time anyone in the world has ever tried that. And what I would love
from you, I guess, is thoughts, feedback, what the performance is like from your end.
So, I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone, but yeah, it was all fairly seamless up until the point you did the first piece where you're trying to speak to us and your audio was breaking up.
When I ran down the front, I thought, okay, maybe I couldn't quite communicate because I couldn't hear you, but I felt maybe we were trying to.
All the songs executed really well. I thought they were great. These folks were up and dancing.
And I just want to say thank you again so much for coming to see something very unpredictable and experimental.
And supporting music and arts and tech and local venues. Really appreciate it.
Yay! Well done. Well done.
I think
Maybe
that
I
it
got
switched earlier than you thought it did. And you were just doing this, thinking you were still on it.
What's going on?
But they'd actually gone, we just switched to the wall.
It's always the unknowns, isn't it? So that's the problem whenever you try new tech is you don't ever know exactly which bits are going to work as you planned, and the bits that you spent all the time getting concrete then fall over what the alternatives are.
Like, I was trying to talk to the audience, they obviously weren't hearing me, they were looking blank. Someone just stood up from the back and walked up right to the front and just waved at me. And I was like, thank you. They could see that the animated character was nervous and struggling on stage. I think that's a checkbox in, did you build a relationship with this animated person on the wall? Because they saw me really struggling to communicate and responded and did something about it. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
We have a lot of work to go. It's not where it needs to be just yet, but all of that development can only come with the input of our audience. Like, there's a certain level of planning where you can only go so far, and then you have to accept the wild card that is the introduction of the audience, because they're going to shift what you do.
I don't feel like I succeeded in actually making the production of a show like this more affordable than getting on a plane. Because right now the upfront costs have been really high, like, owning a motion capture suit or having access to a university or a studio. If there were more artists doing the same thing, the cost would come down because there'd be more equipment, more trained people, more venues.
I guess open source ways of establishing stuff like this, but motion capture technology is still fairly young.
Artists aren't typically doing it because they can't see it having been done before.
But with investment and with people jumping on board and with that kind of infrastructure and skills like around the country, it could be there.
The reason that we're here, like capturing human movement to put into an animation, is because it's human.
It's messy and fun.
It's playful. It still feels
Yes,
very
that's
playful and experimental.
I don't know where it's going precisely, but
Yeah.
I think that's up to a lot of us.
So it's been so much harder than I thought. But the whole point is I feel like you need to do these kind of laborious first steps in that direction to turn it into an easy experience. I also don't think I ever really expected to get this far in a weird way.
I think there's a bit of a trap to try and replicate everything that we have in terms of a physical gig. And I think the opportunity is to really lean into what makes a virtual gig special.
So I'm here at the UTS Data Arena and I've been spending a lot of time here recently. I've started a PhD in motion capture for a remote live performance, and I've also just pulled off the very first full-length Big Sound live show where I managed to send motion capture data to the venue instead of streaming video.
And the crazy thing is that despite all of this, I feel like I'm really only just getting started stepping into this world, and I don't know, I'm excited to see what's next.